Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Kong for a Day, written by the same person. Who's ready? This party is happening, I think.
I'm one smooth simian. Check me out.
We're two idiots.
Hey, everybody!
No for a barrel roll.
Hey, I'm talking here!
Windbag.
Why is King K. Rool just sitting around the bench having drinks with them? Like, I know that that's a thing. It's actually, there's actually a trope for that. It's called going go-karting with Bowser. But Bowser isn't a villain. Like, that's actually a major point of Bowser's character, is that he is not evil. That he's just like, okay. Okay, we're cool. Next time, right? You know, that's a major thing. And in every game and show and comic where Bowser actually has personality, he's a good guy. He's almost always on the party, actually. King K. Rool does not have that going for him.
Knock it off!
Huh? What?
What's going on with the bananas in the background?
This being Congo Bongo's annual ceasefire, our annual love fest, let's have a few words from the future ruler of Congo Bongo.
Hold on. There's a lot to unpack there. Why is this called the Love Fest? Why is the annual ceasefire a thing? Why is it called a Love Fest? Why is Donkey Kong the future ruler? And who is the current ruler? Also, just for you, Savacom, I went back through the previous two episodes on hyperspeed. By the way, watching these episodes at like double speed is really funny. And I came up, and I decided to be tricky. Rather than just specifically like anytime there's a monkey butt visible, I decided that anytime they emphasize it, like it's being shoved into the camera, or they're gesticulating around, or it's taking a significant amount of space, that's what counts as a monkey butt. And we're still up to 20 in just 2 episodes.
Donkey Kong!
Ruler schmooler. Not for long.
Come on, say something, DK.
And if you... What if... Right on, dude. What did he say?
Peace on earth and be nice to the newts.
What a farce! What a sorry excuse for a ruler!
By the way, I have no evidence of this, but I swear they keep changing the actor in Bluster. Either that or he just keeps forgetting how he's voicing his lines, one of the two. That's actually a common thing. In fact, I've run into that problem with the theater, because periodically I've run into a thing where I'm like, all right, I need you to voice this character. Sure thing. And then a few months pass, or even years in some case, like with the FF9 theater. And I'm like, hey, I need you to voice this character again. And they're like, I forgot how I was doing that voice. Okay. And in a couple of extreme rare cases, they were not able to replicate the voice, and so we ended up just asking them to redo all the lines in order to just redo everything. But Bluster sounds so inconsistent across this show.
Ha ha! You're jealous, Green.
By the way, if you ever wondered if this is Yoshi, this is totally the voice actress who plays Yoshi.
Because you don't have a chance at being the future ruler.
Maybe not. However, I am the future owner of Bluster Barrelworks. It seems to me you're the only baboon without a future in front of your name.
I do have a future. I do.
Why does he... okay, I have everything wrong with this. So Bluster is not the current owner, and Donkey's not the current owner, and Funky is doing his own thing, and for some reason Bluster thinks only he and Donkey count, and then he calls Diddy out for not having a future, which Diddy then throws a literal tantrum, actually throwing his hat down and stomping on it, in how much he's upset about the idea that he doesn't have a future. Also, what is wrong with his forehead? Is that just me? Like, I'm trying not to make too much of a aggravation for some of, like, the visuals here, but what is wrong with his forehead?
Take a chill pill, Diddy. I got no future either. Do I look bummed? Not. Besides, you got a future. Future psychic and best little buddy.
Thanks, DK. But that's all I'll ever be. Sidekick, second banana.
The best part about this day of peace is knowing how hard it is for you to squelch yourself, Karul.
Not for long, you decrepit simian.
Ah, give it up, Karul. You'll never win. Not with Donkey Kong, the biggest, strongest ape in all of Congo Bongo as our future ruler.
I hate everything about that line of dialogue. It's everything wrong with dialogue and exposition wrapped up into one beautiful package. It's like, imagine if Picard said, "Yes, today we will get in our spaceship and go travel through alien worlds to examine whatever we can. There might be a danger that will endanger the ship throughout the course of this adventure, but fear not, by the end of this episode, I have a feeling we will be capable of somehow overcoming it." And then, like, he says that every episode. Imagine if he says that every single episode. As you know, this man is better than you. Like, and it's I'm actually mentally editing and correcting my dialogue to be better than the actual dialogue here. Also, and I hate to draw your attention to it, watch his eyelids.
Yourself, Karul.
Not for long,
Not
you
his.
decrepit simian.
Crankies.
Ah, give it up, Karul. You'll never win. Not
Like, okay, I'm sorry. This really needs to be emphasized because these animators were smoking all the crack. Okay, so watch this. So the blink comes down. First of all, he has no eyelids. So the eyelids come out of his skin. Okay, I'm just going to let that go because that's just clipping. If I dinged every instance of clipping, we'd be here all day. But then the eyelids completely close as he's still talking. Stay closed for a really large period of time. And then shrink. Did you see that? Watch the size of his eyelids. Here's full size. And then as he finishes his blink, they physically shrink and then open back up over his eyes and go back into him. Excuse me, but I feel like I need slightly more explanation here. There were animators. Oh, no. This is just what the motion capture guy was getting off of the guy's face. And like the guy doing the motion capture, his eyelids would just shrink and expand as he's talking. And the best part is this isn't even like the worst eyebrows thing we're going to be saying. I think you're right. I think the eyes actually change size. Hang on, let's so that there's like that size. Hang on, let's rewind since before he blinks. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's literally the eyes are actually changing size as we go. I think you're right, Maverick. Has anyone else been amused by the fact, like, okay, how many of you have ever generated anything 3D, like any kind of 3D artwork? I have. It was actually something that was really, really new when I was going to high school. And remember, I went to the rich kids school, so we actually had access to a couple of things where we could work with this. It's where I learned to work with the CAD, I think. It's the architecture software I can never think of the name of. That's where I learned how to use that originally. Haven't done much with it since, I'm not going to lie to you. But the point is, yeah, it is CAD. I was right. The point is, even at like a most basic level, when you're generating a 3D object, there's several ways in which you can do it. Obviously, there's your basic shapes, but if you want anything that's not just, sphere, cone, block, right? You kind of get this blob-looking thing. Now, look at his toes. Because looking at those toes, what I see is some animator saying, all right, I need to animate some toes. I need to design some toes. Yeah, I'm done. At absolute most, what he probably did is he made it a sphere, grabbed and stretched part of it, and then changed the size of a couple of them, and there's his toes. And that's it. That's all he did.
Not with Donkey Kong, the biggest, strongest ape in all of Congo Bongo as our future ruler.
It isn't over until it's over.
At least this conversation's over.
Why are you consulting with the enemy?
So I can launch a surprise attack.
Surprise attack? Why didn't I know about this?
Because it wouldn't be a surprise, you numbskull. Now, we'll make them think.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Everything about the way his face is moving here is already terrifying. But please, please, just watch. Like, they had to shove the camera as close up as possible for this.
Attack! Surprise attack! Why didn't I know about this?
Like, oh, this is already just the stuff of nightmares. But watch how his skin, like, warps and distorts, and like it's made of blubber. I don't even know how to put this. This is as if you put a bunch of live angry bees inside of a leather bag and then held it up and then painted some eyeballs on it.
Because it wouldn't be a surprise, you numbskull.
Look at that. Look at that.
We are participating in the ceasefire, but instead, we are going to be sneaky. Clever.
You?
Yes, you ninny. I'm going to make sure Donkey Kong never rules.
Hey, DK!
And here's everyone's favorite character. For those of you who haven't seen the previous two episodes, first of all, go watch the VOD. But second of all, it's this, she is just the worst. But let's see. We've only seen 2 episodes, and she's been the worst possible character of both episodes, and she's also the biggest villain of both episodes. Let's see if Candy manages to continue her streak, shall we?
Candy!
Goody. Time to break out my super secret weapon of destruction.
A banana peel?
Just watch.
Ooh, Donkey Kong?
What? What did I do?
Whose banana peel is that?
What banana peel?
The one that was left on the ground. The one that I slipped on. The one on your head, you baboon! Our date's off. Don't call me. Don't drop by. Ever.
Ever? That's
So, the trend continues. I should mention I knew exactly what scene I was walking into. I apologize. Remember, for those of you who weren't there for it, in the first episode, I think it was the first episode, someone else slammed a cake down on her head, and she got pissed at Donkey for that and cut off their date. In this episode, she's blind because it's really obvious to see King K. Rool here knock the banana in there, and then she slips on it, and so she cuts off the date and seemingly breaks up with Donkey over the fact that she slipped on a banana that's on his head. And yeah, even ignoring the obvious fact that he has nothing to do with this, and it's really, really obvious, if you were to somehow magically presume that your boyfriend did this on purpose, would that be breakup material? Like, I could see situations in which it could be, but there has to be a whole lot of establishment to establish that you're either already looking for a way out, or like maybe there's some other thing here to try and justify that. Because if I walked up to Bragwin, and I'm like, hey, Bragan, what's up? No, I've got it. If I walked up to my extremely real Canadian girlfriend, wink, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And, I don't know, like, what's it? I put a whoopee cushion on her chair. And it's like, all right, okay. And then she sits down, and she's like, oh, how dare you? Our date's off. Don't call me. Don't come visiting. Ever. And then she just storms out. There's a concept called disproportionate response. It's usually used for drama or for like to demonstrate like a certain character's mentality or how far they've gone in terms of being insane or crazy or how villainous they are. Huh. Because it's true, isn't it? Usually when you see a disproportionate response, it's there to establish the villain. Right? Just saying. Yeah, Alderaan is a perfect example of this. Also, for those of you who haven't seen it, this is probably one of the best possible showcasings of how her fur is sticking out, like, from her, like, shorts. I'm not even 100% sure what's going on animation-wise there. Because at first I assumed that the fur render was just sticking out on top of it. God, I love those knees, by the way. But I think it's worse than that. Because near as I can tell, yeah, I think that her pants are just, like, painted on. Like, that's a texture. So I'm really not sure what's going on with the fur. Because she doesn't have fur anywhere else. Except on her knees. Maybe that's what this is? God, this is so confusing.
Donkey Kong?
Yeah, look at her butt.
What? What did I do?
By the way,
Whose
monkey butt.
banana peel is that?
What banana
This-
peel?
The one that was left on the ground.
Like, look at it.
The one that I slipped on. The one on your head, you baboon! Our date's off. Don't call me. Don't drop by. Ever.
Ever? That's a long time. Yeesh.
Also, if you remember, I hate to repeat myself, but one of the most common things you'll do in fiction is you'll establish the villain's plot, and that plot is a way in which they can demonstrate their cleverness, or their capacity for evil, or maybe their understanding of the character, or maybe their desperation, or anything. There's a lot of ways that you can demonstrate a villain's plot and use it as a character, a narrative, and a thematic point. And here we see that the evil villain's plot was to get Candy to break up with Donkey. And what's funny is King K. Rool here obviously knew that it would take the absolutely most minuscule thing in the world to do so, because all he had to do was slip a banana out there. If you remember in a previous episode, his plot was go steal the coconut. Twice.
Phase 1 of Operation Crush Kong is a success!
Operation Crush Kong?
I get everyone on Congo Bongo furious with Donkey Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Backs on him. Cranky is forced to name a new future ruler. With Donkey Kong, the biggest, strongest ape out of the picture, the invasion is a cinch. Then the truly deserving future ruler steps in.
Yeah, I actually just remembered which scene is in this episode. I've got to apologize. I've seen... Yeah, no, I know the episode. I've seen this show. I've talked about that. But the problem is every episode has the same A plot and B plot, as I've already talked about. And so a lot of it blends, right? Like a lot of it blurs together. Do you see his jaw sticking out inside the upper roof of his mouth, by the way? I know I said I wouldn't point out every clipping error, but, like, that's avoidable, is what I'm going to call that. Like, a lot of the clipping is something we just have to live with. This is a 1996 CGI show, which has limited budget. But that is something that's avoidable. Just lower the jaw, like an inch, and you're done. Right?
Who's that?
Me, you big tub of lizard lard.
And once again, I feel the need to point out they had to animate. In fact, it's not even animate. They had to render that man's nipples. You'll notice they are a physical object. They're not just painted on. So they actually had to have a separate polygon, a separate object, which is attached there to make sure that you understand that that lizard has nipples. They really wanted that. Like this was important to them. Yeah, imagine you're at work and someone's like, "Hey, what are you working on?" "Oh my God!" And you're like, "No, it's not what you look like. It's a guy." Someone somewhere in France or Taiwan, I'm not sure which, had to sit down and write on their resume that they worked on General Crump's lizard nipples. That's something that someone had to do. Or maybe they just didn't claim credit for it. These are both possibilities. Thank you, Game Geek, very, very much for your support. Always appreciate. I will go ahead and jot that down for Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy, DBZ Kakarot, and ESO. Thank you. Him. That counts as a monkey butt. And that counts as a lizard butt. I'm
Good ceasefire,
putting them
DK.
together.
No, my girlfriend blasted me.
Okay, please remember that K. Rool was approximately 5 feet away from Donkey when his girlfriend broke up with him. Now, Donkey is stupid enough to not process that because Donkey is the stupidest character I've ever seen in fiction. But I just feel the need to point it out, you know?
DK, you're a prize catch. She'll come around.
You think so?
Of course. You're a nice guy. You're the strongest ape on Congo Bongo. You're the future ruler. Right.
I'm sorry. I don't want to nitpick things that obviously don't matter to anybody who ever worked on anything ever here, but your qualifications for being a nice catch are you're nice, you're strong, and you're royalty.
So what?
So what? You need to get your mind off of her.
Nothing can get my mind off Candy.
What about surfing? Cool water, the gentle rocking of the waves.
Monkey butt.
Yes.
I'll go surfing.
Great idea. Wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah, it is a good idea. DK's back and out of here.
This is too easy.
I think I figured out why they keep doing that little run-off cloud burst animation thing. Really. Because I'm serious. I just processed this. Some of you know I've actually worked in animation quite a bit. And I do very, very, very amateur animation for the rewrites. Yeah, it's money saving, exactly. Let's reach the actual frames of movement here. So once he actually takes off, you see what happens? There's like no actual animation, and it's only a few frames of just movement. So just boop, 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 gone. That is time and cost saving. That's what that is. And I've been wondering why they've been doing this dumb animation, which is dumb and looks bad in so many of these cuts, and I guarantee you that's why.
This is too easy. Just be yourself, Donkey Kong.
So what do you say, Funky? I don't know, man. It's my best board. I'll take care of it. That board is my soulmate, dude. We've bonded. So,
like, maybe borrow another board that isn't his best board, because by simply stating that he has a best board, you can then infer that there is a not best board. Also, you can predict the entire scene we're about to see from that one sentence, by the way.
bring it back alive.
I'm sorry, why is that cactus in the background? Why are the spikes on that cactus the same texture as the plant? Also, why is there a cactus there? Why is there a cactus there? Someone please explain that to me.
Last one in's an orangutan.
Hurry! Hurry!
What do we do? What do we do?
Steal it!
Stealing? That's bad.
Of course it's bad! We are bad, you lunkhead! Now grab the thing and let's get out of here!
Not till you say sorry for calling me lunkhead.
You're so right. I don't know what came over me. Now grab the board, smarty pants!
I don't mean to jump into this for a second. Yeah, you notice that their plan falls apart the instant anybody actually has functioning eyeballs. Now, we've already established, and once again, you thought I was being exaggerative, but every single character in this show has the idiot ball. They're not just stupid. Like, there's plenty of ways to write stupid characters, or unintelligent characters, or characters that make mistakes. No. The concept of the idiot ball is always bad writing. because the idiot ball is a narrative trope. It's there to it's a metaphoric thing to describe how a character just suddenly acts in a way that only services moving the plot from point A to point B in the cheapest and easiest way possible, even if it doesn't make sense, either for the setting or for the character or for the plot in hand. That's idiot ball, and every single individual in this entire show is constantly gripping the idiot ball like it's a lifeline, like this is the only thing that gives their pitiful and pathetic lives any meaning. And so, when I say that, I am not being exaggerative. Why did Donkey jump into the water without his surfboard? I'm sorry, I've actually been surfing. It's actually been a very long time. But I used to live on the California coast. And over in Carlsbad, if you're aware of where that is. Actually, Carlsbad, Escondido, Del Mar, and San Marcos, and San Diego. We moved a lot as a kid. What do you want from me? So, you don't do what he did. You take the board out with you. And even if you're just going to go swimming for a little bit, you actually, granted this depends on how crowded the beach is, but you just let it sit there for a second, depending on the wave levels. If the wave levels are too bad or there's not people around, then you drag it in and you go ahead and put it in your lockup or in your car or whatever. But then you go back out. You don't just start surfing, begin surfing, by not surfing. I wasn't even going to point out the fact that we get a nice long shot of the ocean there. There's not a lot of surfing to do. What this is going to be is lounging, which is fine, by the way. It's a good way to relax, actually. You just get back on the surfboard and you just enjoy some sun and you enjoy the sound of the water. There's nothing wrong with that. But that requires, this is important, the presence of the surfboard, without which you're just in the water, which does not require the surfboard. So please, for all intents and purposes, explain to me why he left the freaking surfboard there and then just dove into the water. Yeah, what is he doing? What was he doing? Oh, he had to go to the bathroom. Okay, all questions resolved.
Refreshing! Oh no! Funky soulmate!
This is his shocked expression. Some animator somewhere was given the direction and the storyboarding of total shock to the point where they did an audio cue and a camera zoom in, and they decided that this was the proper expression for shock. In fact, to really hammer this point in, he starts to say, oh no, here. Come on. Right there. He starts to say, oh no. And the musical cue is already played. And the camera zooms in. And then his eyes open. I'm sorry to be bothered by these little details, but when you've analyzed as much fiction as I have, especially when it comes to animation, you notice all those wonderful little details that make things work. Like we saw in Cyberpunk Edgerunners, like we saw in Clone Wars Season 7, like we saw in Arcane. And I imagine we'll see some of these entangled as well. But the downside of that is when you notice all those little details, you notice them when they're bad, too. Why are his eyes closed up to this moment in time? It's only a few frames. It's like 7 or so frames, give or take. But why do his eyes remain closed as he's freaking out, having realized that the surfboard's gone? Also, when his eyes open, there's no transition. It's just straight. This is one frame to one frame right here. No, exactly Jesse's mask. It's part of the reason I had planned from the beginning to go ahead and do an actual play-by-play lore run of this show. Because if I just tell you, hey, this show sucks, you don't understand. You have to. I've talked about this before. When something is really, really, really good and really, really, really bad, the only way to do it justice is to actually zoom in the camera as far as possible and showcase it. There's a reason I spent 90 minutes of the beginning of the FF14 lore run just giving you a play-by-play of everything that FF14 1.0 did wrong.
Oh no! Funky soulmate!
Oh, and I wanted that to play because in case you thought his expression ever changed, no, that's just his expression. The whole scene of shock is just this. It's just this one static shot of, oh no, monkey soulmate. Hard to talk like that. Sorry for the voice.
Funky? 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 Wake up, man! What?
Wake up!
Huh? I got bad news. Where's my board?
I love how that's the first thing out of his mouth. Granted, he's probably used to donkey, so that's probably a smart thing there.
Gone. Gone? You promised me, dude. You gave me your word, man.
It wasn't my fault. Somebody filched it. I'm sorry.
Bag the excuses, DK. Cop to it, man.
It wasn't my fault.
How are you gonna be future ruler, dude, if you can't even tell the truth when you wipe out?
Two things. Monkey butt. But also... What? This is pretty much straight up fake drama. It's the kind of thing I would absolutely bash in virtually any show ever. Someone goes up to their friend who is obviously, like, even if we know nothing about Funky Kong and Donkey Kong, we know that these people are close enough people that they that one of them is willing to lend his favorite board over to the other one. So there's obviously some kind of connection there. And so I'll say, like, me and Mr. Red, we'll do a decent. Like, if I asked Mr. Red, you know, hey, can I borrow your such and such? There's a decent chance he'd say yes, because he probably knows I'm going to be solid for it. Then if afterwards I say, Mr. Red, someone stole it, I'm sorry. Do you think Mr. Red's response is going to be, you liar! You're not owning up to the fact that you broke it. You're terrible. How are you ever going to conquer the world and become emperor of the entire planet if you're not willing to own up to the truth? The horrible, horrible truth that you destroyed this thing. And I'm like, Mr. Red, your voice doesn't sound like that at all. I've heard your voice. And he's like, you're right, but I can't do a Mr. Red voice. You're going to have to live with this voice. Especially if I open up by coming to you deliberately and saying, Mr. Red, I'm sorry, something bad has happened. Another common thing that kids' shows tend to be used for as a tool is ESOPs. They're here to give lessons and concepts. And a good show will introduce a concept and then kind of, you know, weave it into the rest of the narrative in some manner. Like, maybe sharing is a good thing, and then we see a villain, and the villain's like, Mwahaha, I'm evil, and I refuse, I'm going to take all the ice cream for myself because I'm evil. And then the heroes beat the villain, and the villain's like, I just wanted some ice cream. And the heroes are like, well, why didn't you just get some ice cream? And the villain says, well, because nobody would share with me. And so then one of the heroes shares. By the way, this is a real episode. I just watched this yesterday, or rather, it was on in the background yesterday. And you know, here, we'll share some ice cream with you. Oh, thank you. Moral of the story, right? I'm not even against that, because it's a good thing to introduce the 1 to 5 range, right? Or the 1 to 7 range, or whatever you're going to call that. Kids show, right? So, okay, cool. There's a decent purpose behind these kind of ESOPs. What is the ESOP here? I'm going to spoil this for you. There is none. I'm just pointing out that all of the many reasons this show might have existed, we just keep knocking off the board like, no, 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 no. Nope. None of them are valid reasons for this show to exist. The best possible use, and I want to stress that I am not being hyperbolic, and I'm not joking when I say this, because this is going to sound like a joke, but in my honest professional opinion, the best reason for this show to exist is to serve as an example of what not to do.
What a lousy day. Everyone in Congo Bongo.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Candy, now Funky.
Snap out of it, DK. We're still hanging with ya.
Yeah, lighten up. Remember, I'm your sidekick, your second in command, bosom buddy.
Me too.
Thanks.
Hey, I gotta split you two.
I'll walk the rest of the way with my buddy Dix. Catch you later, Diddy.
See you around, Dids. Come on, DK.
Well, Crusher, let's hear it.
What?
Your imitation!
All right, here goes.
Lunkhead. Once I have the coconut. Not me, you ninny! Donkey Kongs!
Two things. First of all, lizard butt. Did I mention that this show was a lot raunchier in its original script? I'm just saying, I think there might be a reason there's so many butts in this show. Second of all, This two-brained moron, who is stupid even by the standards of the characters in this show, apparently can perfectly emulate other people's voices. In fact, what they literally do, that's true, Savacom. What they literally do is they just have the other actor voice act it. They're, oh god, Jesse's best. You remember the scene where Riku comes out of the water? Oh my god. Actually, Dixie just says, see you around dids. And I know dids and dicks sound really similar, especially when you say them very, very quickly. See you around dids. Or dicks. You can see how it's just very, very quick there. Yes, Evo, I'm not actually joking. They had to throw out the scripts of most of season 1, and they'd already finished storyboarding for 10 of the episodes that they had. I'm not 100% sure this is true. I was only able to find one interview with one of the writers of the show, so asterisk. But according to them, they had written out all the episodes. They were way raunchier and racist and violent than was originally intended. And so they said, okay, we're going to toss that out the window. But because of how animation works, all the storyboarding and a lot of the motion capture had already been done for 10 of those episodes. So the animation for 10 of the episodes, and we can play a guessing game as to which is which, fits a script that isn't what's actually being said on the screen. And we've actually already watched what I believe is one of those episodes. Anyways, so, yeah, Crusher here has the ability to just perfectly emulate other, like they just pull in the other actor and voice them. Sure. You could probably already see where this is going.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant you, your mightiness.
Just do his voice.
Bananas, bananas, bananas. I always got bananas on the brain.
Oh, perfect.
I also want to mention that this character who can perfectly emulate other people's voices can barely talk properly in his own voice. Like, he has difficulty with basic words. He is actually the kind of person who is so stupid he has trouble talking. And yet when he emulates someone else's voice, he suddenly and perfectly can speak with proper enunciation and vocabulary.
Now for phase 3. Alienate his closest friends and second in command. 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm devilish.
Here it comes. Okay. So there's 2 things that tend to get memed on when it comes to this show. One of which we've already seen, which is the coconut cream pies. You're welcome for that. This is the other thing, because this is impressive, I think is the word I want to use. I'm just going to hit play, and I'll save any commentary for after, okay?
It's a swell place, huh?
Yeah, I'll have to bring Diddy here.
I used to hang here with my girl. But that's history.
Aw, you'll hook up with somebody, DK.
Hey, what about you, Dixie? Little Dixie Doodle, you are fine.
Huh? Hey, what is up with you?
Huh? I didn't say anything.
Dogging your best friend. Humph.
Come on, put a lip lock on me, Dixie. That chimp Diddy will never know.
You lousy double-crossing two-timing. Wait till Diddy gets a load of this.
What? What did I say? Oh, sure. Go tell Diddy. That second banana, that half pint.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him what a lousy friend you are. How are you gonna be future ruler if you can't even be trusted?
What did I do, Dixie? I was just sitting here.
Where do I even begin? That might literally be one of the single worst cutscenes in history. As in, ever. Like, movies, shows, games. This is so much of a colossal failure top to bottom on every single layer. Like, I'm not actually being facetious. Again, you think I'm joking, but I'm not. This is trash. Also, hang on. I really hate to point this out. I had to point everything about this show, honestly. Come on, you two, work with me here. Okay, fine. We'll rewind to it. Yeah, no, okay. So, what is that right there? Do you see that? On her butt? What is that? For just a second, when I saw it in animation, I actually thought it was her butthole. And I thought, no. No, right? But then, like, it closes as she, and opens as she's moving. Do you see that? How it's opening and closing as she's taking steps? Do you see that? So, I think that actually is her butthole. This is one of those things which is so hilariously terrible that I feel dumb even trying to process this. So let's just get this out of the way. First of all, yes, Dixie's a minor. Second of all, she's known Donkey for all her life. Third of all, he and Diddy have been friends all their life. Fourth of all, Dixie knows Diddy and Kong have been friends all their life. So even if we ignore everything else that's nonsense about this, once again, Dixie's reaction is stupid, over the top, and should immediately be met with, huh? There's no way that's actually what's meant. At absolute worst, this should be met with confusion, not immediate belief of the situation. That's before we even get into the fact that Crusher is right freaking there. He's right there, and he's saying stuff to her that he is that Donkey is not hearing, even though the distance between the two is maybe 5 feet. Maybe 5 feet. She would also help tell the difference because there's this thing called directional hearing. I don't know if monkeys have that, but they probably do. That understands there's a difference between sound and sound, right? Like there's probably a bit of a gap between those two things. But then, just because this is already not a ridiculously disgusting enough as it is, we also have to mention that when she's over here, way over here, Donkey still doesn't hear it, and Crusher, who's right freaking there, can still project his voice to just her. And all of this is just the mechanical problems with this. That's before we get into the fact that the specific method, and I feel disgusting even having to say this out loud, that they decide to slander his name is by having him insinuate that they should go make out. Keeping in mind that obviously Dix is taken because she is literally the girlfriend of Diddy, who both of them are kids, you know, girlfriend in big quotes here. But also the fact that, huh? In fact, honestly, I feel like at least one person on the animation team understood because, let's see if I got the right moment here. Yeah, because of the facial reaction she gives to this, is exactly as horrifying as that should be. This is more or less literally the reaction anybody involved in this production should be having. Right about there. I think that's a good shot. Right about there. Did nobody at any point in time process for more than 5 seconds? What the hell is going on with this nonsense? I also love like the pupil dilating thing. The whole show has been really bothering me, but this is probably the first time where the pupils, like, here, let's really show that contrast there, right? Let's go back to regular land here. Like her pupils just kind of keep growing. Look at that. They never stop getting bigger if you're paying attention. She looks like an alien. She actually looks like an alien. She... I don't even know where to start with this. I have to laugh because it's so bad. Yeah, and they never kept growing. They never kept growing up until like the last frame. If you pay attention to these last few frames here, they're still growing. Do you see that? Like they're still growing in the last few frames. I wonder if they could just keep going with that until they consumed her eyes and became a new being out of the husk of the old one. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you one of the worst cutscenes in human history. If there was any doubt, like I'm going to say this right now, this is a Lamentation episode, and I never say that in advance, but we are 10 minutes in, and it has already earned that title. This is what the bottom of the barrel looks like. This is what it actually looks like when we actually reach the freaking bottom of the barrel. And once more, I want you to understand, monkey butt. Okay.
Friend you are. How, Dixie? I was just sitting here.
Some pal you turned out to be. Just because you're my best buddy doesn't mean you got dibs on my girl. How are you going to be future ruler if you can't even be trusted?
By the way, did you notice there's that common theme of how you're going to be future ruler if you can't even be trusted? Let's talk about repetition. Class, please turn to page 37 of your books. Repetition in fiction is a dangerous tool because too much repetition is going to endanger the significance and impact of the thing you are repeating. However, if you decide to not use repetition at all, you run the risk of running into thesaurus syndrome, aka constantly trying to come up with a new word to say the same thing over and over. Thus, repetition is something that you must think very carefully about its application, the kind of thing that should be used precisely at specific impact. I will use an example here. There's an episode of Deep Space Nine, a bad episode of Deep Space Nine, where they keep talking about acting Grand Nagus Brunt. If you know the episode, you know the one I'm talking about. But here's the important point. The entire sequence of the episode, they're saying that line constantly. Acting Grand Nagus Brunt. Acting Grand Nagus Brunt. Acting Grand Nagus Brunt. And the more they say it, the more it loses all impact and meaning. Thus, there's a line towards the end of the episode where Quark is willing to stand up against Brunt. And it's a big character moment and a good scene, except for the fact that then he says, acting Brent Nagus Brunt. And all of that impact in scene construction and character development and all of that is gone because they destroyed it because of over-repetition. There are many examples of this, but that was just one of the first one that occurred to me immediately. If you had removed all of that repetition in the middle and had the very, very first thing right at the beginning, maybe one more time to remind the audience exists, and then the third line, as Quark said it, boom. That's how you use repetition, because repetition is a powerful tool. I will use another example because I like using Star Trek. Star Trek 3, a movie I'm not overly fond of, has one example of repetition that's actually brilliant. There's this bit where, I'm going to try and talk around spoilers here, McCoy is reaching out to Spock, and there's a natural line there where he just says, "You put this damn thing in my head, you remember? Remember?" But the way he says it, it almost doesn't even feel like repetition, but it is. It is the common motif of the movie, and something that the line is repeated too often. That's the problem. In fact, I think at that point it's like the 6th time they say it. But if that scene was there by itself, like we have the initial, maybe one more, it's okay to hit the rule of 3 when it comes to this kind of repetition. And then the final point where they nail it in, that's a good way to do it. Remember? Now, I know what you're saying. Lord, this is a kid's show. And yes, kids' shows tend to follow repeated motifs when trying to put across an Aesop. Please explain to me, first of all, what the Aesop is here at all. But second of all, even in kids' shows, they tend to be precise about this because they know if they repeat it too often, it gets to the point where it becomes rote. It loses meaning. Good kids' shows understand that you don't just repeat something over and over to a child. Because, again, you need to have something to indicate and process. So if I say it's good to share while I'm sharing some ice cream with someone, that's something that they can process, especially since there's an action attached to it, right? If I walk over and say, hey, it's good to share, and hey, it's good to share, and hey, it's good to share, and hey, it's good to share, that can cause problems, and it actually diminishes the impact of the potential. So even in a kid's show, they still try to avoid this level of repetition. Then we have to talk about the fact that they're all saying the exact same line word for word. Repetition does not have to be the exact same line word for word. It can be the kind of thing that is utilized in a way that gets across the same idea, the same concept, the same trope, the same whatever. This is something we actually saw recently in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Now, I cannot talk about this without spoiling, so I'm just going to say Edgerunners actually used repetition rather precisely and to good effect. There were several repeated motifs that were hit here, and then here, and then here, and they never said it the exact same way each time, but the repetition was still there. So, it's too often, it's too exactly the same thing over and over, and nothing is being done alongside it. This is what we call a 100% failure, or to flip that a little bit, you just got a 0 on your grade for your essay, Donkey Kong Country Show, because this is not how you do repetition.
I don't want your girl. I never wanted your girl. You can have her.
Ooh, are you dissing Dixie?
Let's talk about fake drama. Fake drama. Hang on. Ugh, okay, I'm not insane anymore. Let's talk about fake drama. One of the things... I love how I only unpaused for 10 seconds before the show immediately gave me something else to talk about. God damn it! Yeah, skip forward to page 38. Skip forward to page 38. Hang on. Let me get this here. Okay, page 38. Page 38. This goddamn episode. Fake drama. Fake drama is actually pretty easy to define, but there is a gradient when it's debatable if it's fake drama. Because sometimes people are stupid and sometimes people say things they don't mean. There is a gradient range there of what could be debatably fake drama or not. But fake drama is actually easy to define because all it is when something happens for the purposes of stirring the pot. Fake drama is when you have one or more characters and they're angry at each other for no good reason. That's it, that's all. It's there in order to make a drama moment happen. Usually it's part of the third act breakup. You're familiar with the third act breakup because you've watched anything ever. Now, the third act breakup is not necessarily a bad trope. All tropes are tropes. Some tropes can be good, some tropes can be bad. It always depends on execution. However, I have to admit I'm really, really irritated at the third act breakup because it's such a goddamn common thing to the point where it's pathetic. Like, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm spitting here a little bit because it frustrates me how much films, especially, will use the third act breakup without having any idea what it means or why you do that. Yeah, no, it's actually very hard to pull off a proper third act breakup. I agree with you. Which is why it's so goddamn frustrating that these people are just constantly hitting the same button over and over and over and failing at what they're trying to accomplish. The point of the third act breakup is it's right before the finale. So you do the third act breakup so that the characters are on their own, right? Their connection is severed. They don't have the backing they used to have. And now the hero or heroes are at their lowest point, and I have to rise up for that in order to accomplish their final victory. You probably can think of several examples of that which do that well across the course of fiction. But honestly, those are the exceptions, because usually it's a check mark, and usually it's just something that's done specifically so that someone could be like, oh, we suck. Oh, we're all on our own. And then they come back together and say, yeah, we did it. And it's just, there's nothing there. It's just there to fulfill a check mark. It's one of the worst check mark syndrome things I've ever seen. It is so common in fiction. It's right up there with the teal and amber rule. That's how common this goddamn rule is. So forgive me for getting heated about this, but it frustrates me here, right? Because of how common this is, and because of how terribly it usually is. Like 99% of the time, it's crap. The third act breakup is almost always fake drama. Again, we need you to be, we need you to be at your worst point. We need to show that. So I'm like, hey, Mr. Ed, what's going on? Mr. Ed says, how dare you say what's going on? Don't you understand? I just lost my brother, and my mother, and my sister, and my aunt, and my goldfish, and my video games. And I'm like, Mr. Red, what? I'm sorry, I didn't know what happened. You don't even know what happened! How could you not even know what happened? I just got here, Mr. Ed. Please, just talk with me. That's it. We're done. And then Mr. Ed stomps out, and I'm just left here going... And that's fake drama in a nutshell. It's unearned. It doesn't make sense in character. It doesn't make sense for the purpose of the plot or the theme, and it's just there to divvy up these two characters so they can either have the big rejoinder towards the later part of the story, or so the characters can then make up and we can feel good about that makeup. You can't have a makeup without a breakup. And trust me, Mr. Red, the makeup sex is great.
Ah, this friendship's moving like this elevator. Down! Way down!
I don't get it. Candy, then Funky, then Dixie, and now Diddy.
I don't know, what do you think? Does that count as a monkey butt? Zoom in on the monkey butt. Let's really zoom in on the monkey butt there. I think it counts. I think it counts. Meanwhile... Actually, yeah, sorry. Jesse's Mask actually mentioned something really appropriately earlier. Zootopia, which is actually among my favorite movies of all time. I highly recommend it. It's a very, very smart film. Correct, actually. I actually have done stand-up comedy. Thank you for asking. I used to be part of an improv troupe, too, back in high school. That was fun. I was usually the straight man because I can take things that other people are doing and I can just react to them, and that's pretty much my contribution to the joke, right? You probably know the type of thing. I'm really good at it. So, in Zootopia, they go out of their way to establish where the third act breakup is coming from, quite literally in the first scene. The very, very, very first scene of Zootopia is helping to establish where the third act breakup is going to happen. I'm not even joking. It's the play that she's giving as a kid. And that helps to establish some of the divisions that happen within the people. It's also a thematic point because it establishes how this society is moving forward but still has cracks in it. How there's still speciesism and how there's still not quite as much unity as they like to pretend, and there's some like getting under the surface kind of stuff. It's strong, it's powerful, and it's some good stuff. And I bring all that up because that's the kind of legwork you need to do in order to make a third act breakup work. Yeah, also the Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, that's me. Don't ever call me Shirley.
He's asleep. Now,
except I know that was Shatner who said that.
Operation Crush Kong. Critters, no holds barred. Do as much damage as lizardly possible. Ready, aim.
I love a smorgasbord.
Did you notice this is exactly the same animation as earlier, by the way? Oh yeah, that's a good point, Blade Taval. The third act breakup is actually not just relatively short, but it also serves as a big plot moment and a big character moment. Now, hang on, I want to show something up here.
Do as much damage as lizardly possible.
I just wanted to point out how he has eye pupils, which remember, they blink their pupils. You see that? They just blink their pupils. I just wanted to point that out for anybody who hasn't actually noticed that yet. Anyways, why don't they just take the crystal coconut at this point? Like, Donkey's off moping and everyone else is doing whatever. Just take the damn thing. Cranky's asleep. It's right there! And for those of you not aware, the crystal coconut is literally in the room they're in right now, and the person guarding it is asleep.
Aim!
I love a smorgasbord. Let me at it.
Also the exact same animation.
Incriminating evidence. All fingers will point to Donkey Kong. Mission accomplished. Critters, ready, march. What you got? All right.
That probably counts as a lizard butt. And in case you thought I was joking, I should probably mention There's the crystal coconut. It's hard to see because it's only here for a couple of minutes. It's in the lower left part of the screen right there. It's in that globe. That's the crystal coconut. It's right there. It's right there!
Huh? What? My pet! Destroyed! Who would do a thing like that? Who? No, it's not possible! Donkey Kong!
I got...
The only person who disbelieves for even a second is Cranky, which I find vaguely amusing. Do I need to even bother explaining the fact that A, why would Donkey have brought a banana while he's destroying this hut? B, why would he destroy his hut by taking out the thatch roofing? C, how would he get rid of the thatch roofing by himself without waking up Cranky? Like, there's so many holes in this plan. This isn't Swiss cheese at this point. This is just a hole. The whole plan is just a hole. The butthole. That's what it is. It's a butthole.
Got a bad feeling about this. Cranky sounded really mad.
I'm sorry, what is going on with his ear? For real. I'm sorry.
It's not possible! Donkey Kong!
Watch his ear.
I got a bad feeling about this. Cranky sounded really mad.
So what that probably means, based on my limited knowledge of animation, is that the ear is actually probably a part of the same mesh. It has the same rigging as the mouth. So as the mouth moves, it drags the ear, right? That's why it keeps getting yanked forward as they're doing that. Now, that makes absolutely no sense on any level whatsoever. Please, anybody who knows animation, correct me if I'm wrong on this, because the ear doesn't need to be animated, so there's no need for it to be connected to rigging, period. Right? Like there's no actual purpose behind having it be connected to the rigging. Just attach it to the goddamn model and just let it sit there.
I got a bad feeling about this. Cranky sounded really mad.
I'm not talking to you,
But you just did.
but I'm not anymore. Yikes! What happened to Cranky's place? Hey, Cranky, you okay?
What happened?
Like you don't know.
What?
Don't play dumb. I got the evidence right here, you bumbling baboon!
A banana skin. Pretty obvious who did it, DK.
That's not mine.
Oh, sure it isn't.
Look, there's still a piece of banana inside. I'd never leave a banana bit. Well, can I have it?
Donkey Kong! This is it! I got no choice but to strip you of your title of future ruler!
Okay. That face is absolutely terrifying. I did not intend that. I'm gonna be real. I did not intend that. Yeah, the teeth keep popping out. He's got these teeth. So yeah, there's no banana peels in this setting that has an entire banana plantation, which we know that all the monkeys here eat from. Like, that's where they get their food. But I'm sorry, what I was trying to commentate, let's just get the teeth off camera here for just a second. There we go. I know what you did last week. Yes, that one too. I like how for like 1 micro millisecond, okay, I'm exaggerating slightly, for just like a couple of seconds, for once, Donkey actually brought up a decent point. He actually brought up a decent point. That can't be mine. I would have eaten the whole thing. There's even a bit mess. Can I have it? And that's like this one tiny little bubble of something approaching decency in this giant tar pit. And he is then immediately ignored because Cranky insists he has to strip him of his title of future ruler. Now, I simply have studied too much politics and written too much politics to not understand that, yes, future ruler is a title that you can, in fact, strip from someone, so that's cool. But, like, under what proviso does he find it acceptable to strip him of this title because of what's been happening, or even because of this specific incident? Never mind all of the huge logical disconnects that are happening constantly. And then we go immediately from that to Donkey growing the teeth back. Like, why do the animators periodically just have the teeth doing their thing? Like, look at that. You can actually see them. You can actually see the teeth grow and shrink there a little bit. As they're, yeah, you just can't trust him. He's the future ruler, and you just can't trust him. Oh my god! Oh my god, the teeth. Oh my god, look at that. Do you see what I mean with the growing and shrinking teeth? Look at this. Look at this. Who decided for one frame? It's actually just the one frame. Do you see that? He's just, I'm so confused about why they periodically have him show his teeth, and also why all his teeth are apparently shark teeth. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure gorillas do not have nothing but canines. Maybe I'm wrong about that. And they're still there. He's still got the teeth. There's still teeth. Oh my god. What is he doing? What is he, oh my god, his teeth. Okay, hang on. So let's go ahead and watch what he's actually saying now.
What? You can't do that! I found the coconut! My face is on it! Did he?
Yes! All right! It's me! I have a future! I am the future ruler!
Okay. I have to share something. This is from a show on YouTube called Dorkly. Okay? Oh my god, I hate all these recommendation feeds. This is a 12-year-old video, so forgive me. Just bear with me, okay?
Diddy, Donkey Kong has been kidnapped by Captain K. Rool!
My god, if Donkey Kong is gone, then I declare this Diddy Kong country.
What? What are you doing?
You can't just name the entire continent after yourself the second Donkey goes missing.
Who's going to stop me, old man? You? No longer will I be treated like a mere sidekick waiting for that oversized oaf to break me out of a barrel. This is my conquest.
I'll never follow you.
Very well. Kitty, Rambi.
What? What are you doing? No!
Anyone else? What's the matter? Is my new queen getting cold feet?
I'm Donkey's girlfriend. You're sick.
You will learn to love me, my dear.
Diddy, how could you? You said we would be together forever.
Don't be foolish, Dixie. You were a pleasant distraction, but your services will no longer be needed.
You bastard!
Farewell, Dixie. I do hope your trip is a blast.
You don't have to do this, Rambi.
I'm his animal buddy.
I'm so sorry.
Bow before your new player one.
So, anyways, moving on.
You see? The coconut has spoken. I'm giving you a one-way ticket to the White Mountains. No return.
No more second banana for me! I'm the king of the Kong! The Simian Don won!
The White Mountains. Nothing but snow and glaciers and no bananas.
Hey, Donkey Kong!
Yeah?
Happy trails! And don't come back!
What? So anyways, Donkey just got banished. He just straight up got banished. And I know that's something that's kind of used, especially in more modern television. And by modern, I mean like 60s and onwards. Because it's like, oh, it's a punishment, but it's not killing, right? Like, we didn't kill them. But what most people don't understand is that banishment used to be considered worse than killing in many ways. Like, banishment was really, really horrible for a huge chunk of human society. For most of human society, banishment was death or worse. So, like, he's been banished here to the freaking snowy mountains, and it's for the fact that he's been Like that he lost a surfboard, that he accidentally made a woman slip on his banana peel, that we're going to skip over that one, and that he then destroyed the roof. And that's apparently sufficient cause to, without any kind of trial, without any kind of legal framework or civil protection or anything whatsoever, just, hey, you're banished. Go to hell.
I got my orders, dude. Dump you off in the White Mountains. Hang on. There's no bananas there, is there, Funky? There's nothing there, man. Nothing but snow. There they are, dude. Coming in for a drop. Whoa! No, for a barrel roll.
Get it? You like the song? You like songs, right? Because all these have songs, remember?
What's happening to me? I'm getting all the blame for things I didn't do.
I will say, and I've said this several times, the singing is probably the best part about this show. Doesn't drag it up from Lamentation status, but at least there's actually, I will give credit, some legitimate decent singing. It's mostly by his singer. Most of the other singers don't really do as nearly good of a job. If you remember, Candy's singer, for example, was legitimately having issues hitting the notes that she was supposed to be singing. Anyways. Also, do you love, like, I'm sorry to keep pointing out how terrible the animation is here. Please really think about the composition of this scene here. Blue. White. Object. That's it. That's the entire composition.
What's happening to me? I'm getting all the blame for things I...
Now it's just white.
Can anybody tell me just what I did wrong? I'm all alone and I'm so confused. I don't know what everyone wants me to be. I only know just how to be me. Once I was the ape of the hour, they think I'm a coward, an absolute zero. I'm nobody's hero.
That's a lot of cocaine.
An absolute zero. I'm nobody's hero.
You just said that.
I'm nobody's hero.
You just said that. So now we've gone to the only biome which actually has less complexity to it than the previous ones.
That simple simian Donkey Kong has been eradicated.
Thanks to our military expertise. I mean, thanks to your plan.
Now it's time for one final assault. The final takeover. We're going to raid Bluster Barrel Works.
But why the barrel works? Why not go for the coconut right away?
The coconut will come in good time. This is phase 4 of our operation. You will raid the barrel works and fill the ammunition stores with exploding barrels. With the ammo and my army, the apes will be defenseless. Especially with that pipsqueak Didi at the helm.
So that spineless salamander is marching on the barrel works. Time for our leader to lead.
And yeah, in case you thought I was joking when I said the crystal coconut could do anything, it can also spy on other people, perfectly and in real time.
Blast! What was I thinking, putting Diddy's face in the coconut? Flew off the handle. I think I might have been a little hard on DK.
You banished him!
Pretty cool you being named Future Ruler, Dids. You're the big dude.
Thanks.
So, can I get a big smooch from the big dude?
So, in case you thought I was being facetious about, you know, them being a couple.
You mean me?
Sure.
it out!
Bad timing, Cranky.
Oh yeah, by the way, it can also astrally project you to other locations. Of course, this is why everyone on the island knows everything instantly, is because the crystal coconut just projects their thoughts everywhere instantly.
Rule is marching on the barrel works, and you gotta get over there.
Why me?
'Cause you're the future ruler of Congo Bongo. As protector of Congo Bongo, you're expected to risk your life at a moment's notice.
My life?
Dude, you've been with Donkey. You already know this. You've done this with him in this show before this time. Oh yeah, by the way, you probably thought I was joking when I said that every single episode has 2 musical numbers. You probably thought I was exaggerating, or maybe I was just trying to make a point, or maybe I just hate this show and I'm trying to make up things to mock about it. Because that's a common thing, right? Hitler wore pink and all that. But no, this show has 2 musical numbers every episode.
What do you expect from someone who has never ever been the king before? Never had to save the day, now I've no idea what's in store. Sack and banana's what I am. I never thought this job would be full of so much misery. Sack and banana's what I know. I'm just not cut out to be the hero. Maybe it's a twist of fate, but I can never recreate the ape he was. I'm the tootie to his fruity and the peach to his fuzz.
That's an interesting line. I'm the peach to his fuzz. That feels vaguely naughty. Also, Diddy has actually helped fight off the Kremlins prior to this point in the show. More than once, actually. Also, I love how he's complaining about how much his job sucks, even though this is literally the very first time he's been called to do his job. Now, we can probably name some jobs like that, but I really want you to imagine that you have worked very, very hard to get a job at Arby's, and you finally got the job at Arby's, and you show up for your very first day at work. No, actually, no, that's not what happens. Instead, you're lounging about at home. And as you're lounging about home, someone says, "Hey, you gotta go to that job you just worked very hard to get." And your response is, "What? I've got to go to the job that I just worked really hard to get?" Ugh, okay. And then you go and you immediately start talking about how much your job sucks before you've actually started working it. So like your song, as you're walking to your job, as you're walking to the Arby's, is about how much your job sucks.
Sack and banana's what I am. We make such a perfect team. Now I'm all alone, it seems. Sack and banana's all I know. I'm just not cut out to be the hero. The hero, the hero, the hero, the hero, the hero.
Do you also notice the massive amounts of repetition in the animation during that sequence? Also, several bad camera directions, and the fact that we continue to have the return of the Kingdom Hearts 1 PNG in the background. Speaking of bad textures, why do they keep using this shot? Why do you keep using this stupid shot? Evo, do me a favor. And Yura, if you're ever watching this in the future, tell me everything wrong about this shot. Go ahead. I'll wait. No, I won't.
Hello, sweet candy. Now that DK is out of the picture, how about a date?
Forget it, Bluster. What?
Plum, this is a raid!
A raid?
Oh, Mommy won't go for this at all.
Forget your mummy, you nitwit! Ready, aim, fire!
I sure wish DK was here.
It pains me to admit it, but so do I.
How's that for a barrel of laughs?
Hold it right there, you pawn gax!
Do I even need to explain the fact that the big attack against a factory which consists of 2 workers, by the way, 2 people, one of whom is just standing around trying to get into the pants of the other one. Just ignore all that for just a second. The big attack is knocking out some of the barrels. Not even all of them. Just enough, like it's just as this. And you think, oh, based on this shot, it's going to knock out all those barrels, right? That's such a huge attack. And it only gets, like, the bottom few. So the top ones just roll around. They don't even break.
He was here.
Like, what is this? Yeah, and yeah, I noticed that the animation was there's a lot of animation reuse in this. And when I say animation, I mean shot reuse. Like, a shot is just copy-pasted from one episode to the next.
It pains me to admit it, but so do I.
How's that for a barrel of laughs?
I really want you to appreciate those nipples. Because, and I stopped here for another reason. Did you notice the nipples actually have an additional bump on them? You only notice when the camera's up close like this, but I want you to remember, in your deepest, darkest nightmares, as you are pondering the hellscape that has become your life, that those nipples have an additional bump on them. So what you're actually staring at isn't just the nipples. You're staring at the full areola there. They bothered to render the areola and the nipple on the freaking lizard.
Hold it right there, you pawn gax! As the future ruler of Congo Bongo, I order you to scram!
Look who's here to save the day. It's the half-pint ape. Open fire!
Yo! I'm not edible! I'm not edible!
I hate to disagree with you, Diddy, but you're perfectly edible.
What's up now?
Help, Frankie! Get DK! Get DK!
Well, I do miss the big lug.
That's all you're going to need to undo banishment forever. His words, not mine. Banish forever and don't come back. Well, I do miss the big lug. It hasn't even been 1 day. It's been like, God, like maybe an hour in universe. I hate everything about this shot. I hate everything about this shot. There's not even, that's not how sky looks like. That's not what snow looks like. That's not what anything looks like. This is a Dr. Seuss novel.
Bananas. I need bananas. Bananas. Ooh, let me at 'em. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Why, if the goal was to reach a specific point there, would you keep running through the point you're trying to reach? Why, upon the point at which it was revealed to be an illusion, would you keep running immediately after it? I have no problems with that.
A banana mirage. Life is so unfair.
Quit feeling sorry for yourself.
You banished him! You asshole!
There's trouble brewing at the barrel factory.
Diddy'll take care of it.
The pipsqueak's in over his head. You're the only one who can do the job.
But I'm weak. I can't. I haven't had any bananas all day.
Well,
Bananas.
I couldn't let you go without packing you a couple of bananas for the road.
See, he really loves him after all. After he banished him to the Arctic North to die of starvation, he did give him a couple of bananas on the way out. He really did care.
Let me at him!
Isn't someone gonna save us?
Candy, I don't even know where to go with that one, honestly. I'm not even going to explain the fact that Bluster is right behind you and is a fairly large ape who could probably do a decent amount of damage if he wanted to. But no. Candy, at least, you know, has the ability to kick ass, right? Right?
Fat chance.
Donkey Kong, where are you?
Right here, little buddy.
Why are the teeth back?
Donkey Kong! Donkey Kong! Yeah, easy there, big fella. Run for your life! Each lizard for himself!
How many of you have seen the Disney film Hercules? It's a good film. It's been a while for me as well, since I did the coverage of it for the Rumination. It is a good film, but there's one part of that film that I absolutely despise. This is a mild spoiler. But there's this one point in the film. Who put the cat in Gladiator? Sorry. There's this one part of the film which I absolutely despise. It's right towards the end. So, without spoiling, the bad guys show up and just run over the good guys, right? Just absolutely curb stomp them in seconds. And everything's looking desperate and dark and terrible. Which, if that sounds familiar, that's what we're looking at here. Especially, like, right as... There we go. So there's a good shot of everything going terrible and the bad guys winning. Then Hercules shows up and does, like, one thing. And then all of the seven, everyone's like, yeah! And the tide turns instantly, and the good guys just sort of effortlessly curb stomp the bad guys. It's the worst scene in the entire film. And I should mention, I like Hercules. But it's the worst scene in the entire film because of how pathetic and rote it is. That essentially the good guy has showed up, therefore they win. Yeah, it's very Greek in a bad way. And I bring that up because the bad guys here, Bluster's under gun. They literally have their cannons aimed at them. Diddy's running around and like, haha. But then Donkey shows up.
Yeah, easy there, big fella.
And he just says boo. That's all he does. He doesn't beat anybody up. He doesn't destroy everything. He just says boo and wins. And we're all just gonna, like, let go of the fact that y'all were massive dicks to him for the entire day.
What a hero!
I also want you to keep looking at this terrible shot. Do you know why I want you to keep looking at this terrible shot? Because they want you to keep looking at this terrible shot. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the composition. Look at what the focus is on. Look at how they don't use negative space properly. Look at the fact that this is the 4th time we've seen this in just 3 episodes, by the way. We've been skipping around a lot. This is the 11th episode we're covering right now, for a bit of perspective. Depending on how you count it. Also, why did the Crystal Coconut rather suddenly change to Diddy being in charge instead of Donkey? I wasn't even going to bring up the fact that the shadows are wrong, because the shadows are wrong in the entire show.
It's not pretty, but it's right.
Oh, I'm glad it's you back in there and not me, DK. Besides,
Hold on. What? What?
I'm glad it's you back in there.
It's true! Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. I know this is a really minor thing to point out. Look at where they're placed, right? Look where they're positioned. So, there's the thing in the middle. Like, let's do a top-down, okay? So there's the thing in the middle, and it's got its 3 spokes. And then we've got Cranky over here, Diddy up here, and kind of in the back, behind the thing, is Donkey, okay? He's holding a bushel of bananas. And because of the fact that he's moving, they kind of drift a little bit forward in front of the thing that he is behind. Now, that makes sense, because as we've talked about before, almost all of the backdrops are pictures that they're just being pasted in front of, especially for these kind of static shots. So the bananas going in front of the picture make perfect sense. But I'm sorry, even though that's such a minor thing, I noticed that instantly because it's so brain-breaking. Like, that's practically an optical illusion of how wrong that is.
There and not me, DK.
There, it's even more obvious there. He's literally covering an entire spoke on the left side there with something that is behind it.
Besides, I'm really a good second banana.
Well, the top banana wouldn't be top banana without his second banana. See, you gotta have the first banana and then the second banana.
Hey,
Remember, don't question your betters, because they're better than you. Be grateful for being second banana, you plebeians. I don't know what the Aesop is supposed to be in this episode. Maybe don't be a dick? I don't know.
easy, DK. That's what got you into trouble to start with.
You can take the ape out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the ape.
What kind of line is that to end the show on? Huh? Also a wah-wah, by the way. And there it is. This might be one of the worst episodes of television ever. And in case you question that, I remind you... Come on, YouTube.
Never know.
That this is an honest-to-goodness scene in this episode. We're just going to call this black for the moment. We'll figure out the possibility of going into negatives later. Actually, maybe I could... Can I, like, do that? Is that going to show up at all? No. Oh, it kind of is! It kind of is. It's not on the pie chart, but look at the graph below the pie chart. Yes, I did know that! Fillers of Snow. I also know that France got involved in this, as well as Taiwan and a couple other places. Check it out. It shows up on the graph as -1. I give this episode Dixie's pupils out of 10, and may God have mercy on its soul.